Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Which of the following are percussion instruments? Kamaicha, Mridangam, Pakawaj, Tabla. The answer to this is 2, 3 and 4 only. Now let's look into the next question. India is signatory to which of the following conventions or goals? Sustainable Developmental Goals, Istanbul Convention, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. Why have we taken this practice questions? Because of the reference given in this article. When it comes to percussion instruments, it makes a mention of percussionist, and when it comes to the Women's Convention, it makes a mention on the International Women's Day. Now when we look into the percussion instruments, it is also called as the Avadhana Vadya. These are the instruments which are made by stretching the animal skin across a metal or earthen pot, wooden barrel or frame. The sound is produced by striking the animal skin that has been stretched across the body. There are different types of percussion instruments. Let's try and understand what are these different types. First, it includes what is called as Anakya drums. This is where the drums are covered with the animal hide on both the sides. If we take the example of Mridangam, Kol or Pakawaj, what we will have is this particular instrument where that particular person who's playing this instrument would be able to hit on both the sides. That is what is called as Ankya drums, and the example is Mridangam, Kol and Pakawaj. Now when we look into the Alingya drums, the examples include duff, duffleys, so on and so forth. Now when it comes to the Urdhaka drums, they are placed vertically before the musician, and the examples include tabla pair, bayan, dhaga and chenda. And the final type of the Avanada Vadya includes what is called as damarus. They are in the shape of an hourglass variety of drums. This is what we have to understand in reference to the first question. Now when we look into the second question, what does it speak about? It speaks about the conventions where India is signatory to. When we look into the sustainable developmental goals, yes, India is a signatory to it. So we can say that India is planning to implement all these goals as mentioned under the sustainable developmental goals. The second it speaks about is in reference to the Istanbul Convention. What is this Istanbul Convention? It is a human rights treaty of the Council of Europe against violence against women and domestic violence. The convention aims at prevention of violence, victim protection and to end the impunity of the perpetrators. India is not a signatory to the Istanbul Convention. So what exactly happens in this convention? This is nothing but a legal framework given by this particular convention. Let's say there is violence against women and girls, covering all issues like domestic violence, rape, sexual assault, female genital mutilation or so-called honor killings or forced marriage which are pushed by a particular family. In all these cases, there is a legal framework given by the Istanbul Convention. So the Istanbul Convention sets some minimum standards so that the government in that particular region is able to formulate laws and prevent all these type of violence against the women. As a result, all these countries which are part of this particular convention will have to make laws, come up with rules and regulations, take action plan to ensure the perpetrators of this particular crime are ultimately prosecuted. Do remember, India is not a signatory to this particular convention. Now when we look into the third convention, it is about Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. It was adopted in 1979 by the United Nations General Assembly. It is generally called as International Bill of Rights for the Women. The convention defines discrimination against women as any distinction, exclusion or restriction made on the basis of sex which has effect or purpose of impairing or nullifying the recognition, enjoyment or exercise by women irrespective of their marital status on the basis of equality of men and women, of human rights and fundamental freedoms in political, economic, social, cultural, civil or any other field. In case they are not being respected, it means that the very fundamental values and ethos of the society is not being respected. Again, kindly remember, India is a signatory to this particular convention, and as a result the answer to the second question will be 1 and 3 only. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Pradhana Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana, which of the following statements is or correct? It is a campaign launched by the Ministry of Health to provide quality medicines at affordable prices to the masses. Directorate General of Health Services is the implementation agency of the PMBJP. The answer to this is none. Why? That is because when you look into this particular mission, it is a campaign launched not by the Ministry of Health, but instead it is by the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Apart from this, it is not the Directorate General of Health Services, which is the implementation agency, but instead it is the Bureau of Pharma PSUs of India, which happens to be the implementing agency of the Pradhana Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. Now let's understand what is this program all about. There are two ways of looking at it when it comes to the health sector. One, let's say there is an individual who is suffering from a disease or an ailment. He goes to the doctor says surgery has to be performed. So what this person goes through is through a surgery. The other part is, let's say he goes to a doctor, the doctor prescribes some medicine, but this particular medicine given by the doctor to that particular person might have exorbitant prices, or this particular person may not be able to afford this as well. This is where the government of India under this particular program is providing what is called as quality generic medicines at the affordable prices. Let's say for example, there is one of this particular medicine which has been prescribed by the doctor. It might be exorbitant, or the price might be around 500 rupees or 1000 rupees, but the same tablet of the generic version might be comparatively cheaper. It might be 200, or for the same product it might be way too less as well. That is what is being promoted under this particular program, which was launched by the Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers back in the year 2008. And this particular program has been updated and renamed into what is called as Pradhana Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. So what does it do? It brings down the healthcare budget of every citizen of India by providing quality generic medicines at the affordable prices. So what is the intention? There is twofold intention. One is with respect to the customers, the other is with respect to the doctors. What would happen with respect to the customers or the personnel who are taking the medicines? They might not have awareness about this particular issue. So what is the government looking at? It will provide the awareness with respect to the generic medicines so that the people can look at the alternative, and they are also insisting the doctors to prescribe what is called as these generic medicines in case there is an option for that particular disease. Let's say there is one particular disease. For this particular disease, there are two types of tablets. One is the tablet which is costly, the other is the one which is cheaper in nature. So the government is asking the doctors to prescribe the generic cheaper ones to the people if we have a suitable substitute for it. Now the important question is, how will this individual find out if there is a Jan Aushadhi Kendra in this particular district? So the government of India has also launched what is called as Jan Aushadhi Sugam mobile application. So this Sugam mobile application will help in identifying whether there is a Jan Aushadhi Kendra in that particular district or in that particular region. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. Now let's look into the next practice question. Maitri Setu, recently seen in news, will help in enhancing trade and people to people movement between India and, is it Nepal, Iran, Bangladesh or Myanmar? The answer to this is Bangladesh. Why have we taken this practice question? Because of the reference given in the PIB article. So when we speak about Maitri Setu, this is a bridge that is built across the Fani River. With this particular construction, the project is expected to increase the trade between India and Bangladesh, and at the same time increase the people to people contacts as well between India and Bangladesh. Now let's look into the next practice question. There is a concern over the increase in harmful algal blooms in the sea waters of India. What could be the causative factors of this phenomenon? Discharge of nutrients from the estuaries, runoff from the land during the monsoon, upwelling in the seas. Select the correct answer from the quotes given below. The answer to this is 1, 2 and 3. This happens to be a previous year question. What is algal bloom? Algal bloom, or what is called as marine bloom, or this is also called as water bloom, is nothing but rapid production or increase when it comes to the population of the algae in that aquatic system. So when there is sudden explosion of this particular algae in that aquatic system, that is what is called as the algal blooms. Kindly remember, this can be a very important pointer. These algal blooms can occur in freshwater or in the marine environments, and when this algal bloom occurs, it might result in in green color, or it might be yellowish brown as well, or it might also result in red color during that particular period. So how does it occur? Let's say for example, there are some algae blooms that are result of excess of nutrients. What are these nutrients? Let's say for example, it can be phosphorus, or let's say for example, it can be nitrogen. When these nutrients enter the water, they have high concentration of the nutrients, and as a result, this will lead to the growth of the algal blooms. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day is Vandan Yojana. What is this Vandan Yojana? We have the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and the Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India, which launched the Vandan Yojana in the year 2018, which wanted to improve the tribal income through the value addition of tribal products. What exactly happens? There are multiple tribal products. Let's say for example, handicraft, artistic works or cuisine, so on and so forth. This people might not generally know about it. So what do these platforms do? They provide a platform such that these outputs from the tribal society is spread to different states in India. The scheme aims at economic development of the tribals involved in the collection of minor food producers. What is this minor food producers? Let's say for example, there is a non-timber item such as bamboo and other grasses, edible or useful roots, seeds, fruits, flowers, plants, that which is fallen, so on and so forth. This happens to be the minor forest produce. So what will these people do? They will collect these minor forest produce, bring it into a common platform where the government has provided them, so that it provides livelihood means and mechanisms to such tribal people. Under this particular scheme, the Vandan Vikas Kendras will be constituted. They will provide skill upgradation and capacity building training and set up primary processing and value addition facilities in that particular locality. Who will implement this particular program? At the national level, what we have is the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, which will act as a nodal department at the central level, and TriFed as a nodal agency at the national level. When it comes to the state level, we have the state nodal agencies and the district collectors who are envisaged to play a pivotal role when it comes to this implementation. And when it comes to the local areas, we would have the establishment of the Kendras, which will be managed by a self-help group, which will consist of representatives of the Vandan self-help groups in that particular cluster. So this is how this particular program will be implemented, so that livelihood measures and schemes and programs are ultimately implemented for the tribal community. It is this that we have to understand in reference to the Vandan Yojana. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.